Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome back to my channel. I am here yet again with a new tutorial video on Dockers. This is a continuation from my previous video series on Dockers. Okay, my today's topic is Docker volume and persistence. This is very important topic in the world of Docker. Before I start anything, quick question. Have you ever spent hours setting up a database in Docker and you added all of your data and then you delete the container and then you notice that all of your data is gone permanently. Everything is lost, right? I'm sure you might have experienced this with you when you use Docker containers and deal with the data inside the container. That's exactly what we are going to fix today. In this video, I'm going to show you how Docker volumes work. Docker volumes is a next term, in addition to Docker container that that is used to protect your data even though your container is gone, right? Even though you delete your container. So I'm going to show you how Docker volume works, why they exist, how to use them with the real PostgreSQL database. So your data survives. The container would restart even if it would delete. So your data would still be survived. Okay, I'm going to prove it to you by actually deleting a container and watching the data disappear, and then doing the same thing with a volume and watching it survive. No prior Docker experience required for this. So without any delay, let's go. Before we run a single command, let me explain what's going on under the hood. As you can see on my screen, I have two different pictures or two scenarios. The scenario on the left is Docker container without volume, and the situation on the right is the Docker container with the volume. Okay, so let me start with the left side situation, Docker container without Docker volume. When Docker creates a container, right here I'm showing a PostgreSQL container for database where you save large amount of data, right? Or where companies save large amount of data. It builds a layer on top of the image. That layer is called the container's writable layer, where you write stuff, right? To where you save all of your data, and that lives inside the container, that database data, which is writable, right? Any data your app writes, whether files, database records, logs, goes into that writable layer. And when you run a Docker command like docker rm, means docker remove, it will delete the container, and that writable layer will also get deleted with it. It will be permanently gone. No backup, no warning whatsoever. You might be thinking this could be a bug in the Docker system, but it is not a bug. It is there by design. Because containers are by design are temporary, right? They are supposed to be stateless, and those are disposable. The image, on the other hand, is permanent. Okay, the container is temporary. The key thing to remember is the containers are temporary, they are stateless, they are disposable, whereas the images are permanent. Okay, but that's a big problem. Even though this is not a design problem, this is a big problem, right? If you are running a database, let's assume PostgreSQL or MySQL or MongoDB, even, as a matter of fact, they all write data to the disk. If the disk disappears, when the container is deleted, your data will disappear as well. What is the solution? The solution from Docker is volumes to fix this problem. So a Docker volume is a storage area that lives outside the container, not inside, outside the container, and Docker manages it on your host machine, right? So same, so we have a container, PostgreSQL container, right? And then you have a Docker volume, right, which lives on the host machine, right, not on the container. Okay, and when a Docker writes to a volume path, the data goes to the host. Okay, the data goes to the host, not to the container's writable layer. When you write something, it would go to the host machine, not to the container, right, writable layer. So when you delete the container, if you use this command docker remove docker rm, the container might go, or the container will, even though the container will be gone, but your volume would still be there. Okay, because it lives on the host machine, not on the container. Okay, so when you delete the container, the volume and all its data stays exactly where it is. That's the whole concept. So let me prove it. Okay, all right. So part 1, I'm going to create, let me open my Visual Studio Code. So this is my Visual Studio Code, right? I want to show you a live demo example, hands-on practical example. Okay, the part 1, I'm going to create a container first with no volume, and I will add a real data to the database, and I will delete the container, and I will show you that the data is gone. So first, let's pull the PostgreSQL 16 image. Okay, let me type in my VS Code's command prompt. Let me type docker pull postgres 16. So this command will pull the postgres 16 from the Docker hub. Okay, this is a standard postgres 16 docker. With this command docker pull, it will pull from the Docker hub. So my pull is complete, as you can see. So Docker pull downloads the image from Docker hub. Postgres 16 means we want the official PostgreSQL image version 16, right? This might take a minute if you try it for the first time, and after that it is cached. Okay, so now I want to run the container. For that, I will do docker run / name postgres no volume / -e postgres password equals my secret password -p port p 5452. Okay, 5432, my MacBook machine port, and then the Docker port is 5432. Okay, and then / okay, and then -d, and then I will type postgres 16, right? Hit this. So I just created a container, right? Created it and also run it. So let me explain each item that I created, right? So --name, it gives the container a memorable name so that we don't have to use a random ID Docker might assign. So I use a specific name, Postgres no volume, because I'm using Postgres database with no volume option. Okay, to show you an example, so I use that as a title of that container, right? -e is what? Dash E sets an environment variable inside the container. Okay, E for environment. So then in capital letters, Postgres password is required because PostgreSQL won't start without it. This is mandatory. Okay, you have to write it like that. Dash P 5432 5432, it maps the port 5432 on your machine, in my case on my MacBook, and to port from that machine, from your machine to port 5432, which is inside the container. The format is a host port colon container port. Okay, 5432 is a PostgreSQL's default port. This is not the number I randomly typed. This is the default port for PostgreSQL. Dash D means detached mode. The container runs in the background. You get your terminal prompt back immediately with this command. Okay, so you notice there is no dash V flag, no volume. That is intentional for this demo. Okay, let's check it is running or not. I want to type docker ps. So with this command docker ps, it shows that I just created this Postgres no volume. Okay, even I can even I can check my Docker, go to dashboard. Okay, so you see this is what I created inside my container, or I created this container Postgres no volume. Okay, the status, that port 5432 5432, this is the container ID, and the status is active. I can stop it, I can delete it. Okay, now going back to my where is my Visual Studio Code? Right here. So let me make the screen a little bigger. Okay, so you can see it. Appearance, zoom in. Here you go. Even I can make the screen bigger, right? So one sec, one second. Okay, I think it's fine, right? As long as you can see later when the video would play in YouTube, I'm fine. Okay, so I have shown you the Docker is running, okay, in my Docker desktop. So now let's connect to it. So now you have you see Postgres no volume is in the list status up, right? Is here. If I write this command docker ps, it says up, status is up, so for 2 minutes, right? And that is intentional. Okay, where am I at? Yeah, so yeah, so you should see this Postgres no volume in the list with status up. Now let's connect to it. Okay, I'm gonna type docker. Let me first clear my screen. Okay, I want to type docker exe, execute it, Postgres no volume PSQL u Postgres. Okay, so docker exe, it runs a command inside a running container. Dash it gives us an interactive terminal. PSQL is the Postgres SQL command line client. Dash U, dash capital U, Postgres means login as the Postgres super user. No password needed because we are connecting from inside the container. You should see the PSQL prompt Postgres, right? This prompt I'm seeing now, Postgres equal and this hashtag, right? So now let's create a database. I'm now inside Postgres database and I can create a data. For this example, for this demo, let's create a database, a table, and and insert some record in it. Okay, so create database for a company. Okay, so I created that database. Okay, now I'm gonna add some entries. C company, create table employees. I want to create some employees, right? ID, serial, primary key, name is varchar 100, department is also varchar. Okay, this is a SQL basic SQL commands I'm typing, and I want to insert into employees. So I just created these headings: ID, name, department. Okay, that I created that table. Now I want to make some entries. So I want to insert into employees table under name, under department. What I want to insert? The values. What are those values? Those values are, let's say I'm entering Alice Johnson. Okay, department engineering. Okay, comma, and I'm making another entry, Bob Smith, and the department is marketing. I want to add another entry. Okay, Carol White, and the department is finance. Okay, column. Okay, so I inserted 3 entries under name and department. Now I want to do select all from employees. See, so I created a database with the ID number, name, department for 3 people or 3 employees. Okay, Alice Johnson engineering, Bob Smith marketing, Carol White finance. This is showing that I have created 3 rows. Okay, okay, so if you have noticed, I used backslash C. Okay, and then next is company. So what is backslash C? So it connects to the company database. Okay, so we created a simply employee table with the ID, name, department, insert 3 rows, then select all to verify they are there. You should see 3 rows in a nice table right here, and the data is there. So now I want to quit this SQL. Okay, PostgreSQL. So for that I will do so I would do \q is quit. Okay, now I wanna, so my data is there. I just get out of that that SQL database. So I'm in my regular command prompt. Now the moment of the truth, let's delete the container. Okay, docker stop Postgres no volume. That's the container name. I want to stop it. Okay, so I stopped it. It would show stopped. the green dot is gone. The green dot is gone, right? So now I want to remove it. Okay, docker rm postgres no volume. Oops, sorry, I used the wrong command. I made a mistake. I am using Python command here. I should not have used a dash. It's simple docker rm postgres no volume, which is a container name. I want to remove it. So it should be gone now. See, it is gone. That container is gone. So even though the container is gone, right? So the docker stops. The previous command I used, docker stop. It sends a graceful shutdown signal. Docker rm removes the container entirely, and with it, the writable layer where the database files were stored, those are gone as well. So let's verify if it is gone. So docker ps all. So I don't see the docker volume demo in my container database, right? It's gone. The container is gone, right? I'm not seeing that. The command I used, docker ps-a, it shows all containers, whatever containers I have, it shows all that, including the stopped one, not the deleted one. So postgres no volume should not appear. We saw that it did not show, right? I can show it again. It is not showing that container that we deleted, postgres no volume. It is not appearing. So let's recreate the exact same container. I deleted the container with the assumption that my database is there. The data I saved in database in PostgreSQL is in there. That's my assumption. So let's try that. Let's recreate the container, same container. Okay. For that I would just use clear the screen. So docker run. I'm in a Docker environment now. Name postgres no volume. Okay, dash e, same commands that I used at first to create that container. Postgres password, my secret password dash p, port 5432 5432 backslash, and then dash d, detached. Okay, and then postgres 60. Okay, so now I want to type docker execute, basically same command, it postgres no volume psql dash u postgres. So I'm in that database now. So backslash, okay, the backslash dash l list all database. You see default PostgreSQL. You see, if I use backslash l, if I use backslash l, so it is showing no database there. I created a 3 employees, their department, right? It is gone. It is not showing me that, even though their metadata information it is showing me, but my actual data is gone, right? And you see that that the default PostgreSQL system databases, the Postgres template 0, template 1, but where is the company? That company I created in that database? It's gone, right? It's not there, so data is gone. So this is exactly the problem Docker volume solve. So I want to quit PostgreSQL and let's clean this up, okay? So let's do \q, which is quit. I'm now out of that database environment. Now I wanna, the container is empty. I wanna stop it first. Postgres no volume, and in the same command line I want to do both. I want to stop that container which is actually running. I want to stop it and I want to remove it, okay? So in the same line I'm using both commands by using double and, okay? Docker rm postgres no volume, okay? So if I go to my Docker desktop, that container is gone. It is stopped, it is deleted as well. So that was the example of Docker container without a volume. If I delete the container, whatever the data I had, it is deleted as well. Okay. Now part 2 is for data volume, Docker volume, where the data would persist even though I delete the container. If I recreate the container, my data would be still there. Okay. So now let's do it the right way with the Docker volume. Step 1 is create a named volume. First I want to create a volume name, right, with the name. Okay, Docker volume create Postgres data. This is with the volume option. Okay, I just staged it. I have not run it yet. That's why it's not showing in the Docker desktop. So that's it, one command. Docker creates a managed storage data on your host machine and it names it Postgres data. So now let's take a look at what Docker actually created. So I want to type Docker. Sorry, I say doctor because Docker is a very rare word we use. I'm so sorry about that. Docker volume inspect Postgres data. So you see that the key field is mount point. On Mac operating system with Docker desktop runs a lightweight Linux virtual machine under the hood. So the path looks like this is the path, right? Var library Docker volume Postgres data. That's where Docker will store all the database files. So with this command, right, Docker volume with this file name, it created a local file in my machine, in local machine. So this is the path for that. So even though if I delete the container, my data will still be there because that data is in my local machine. Okay. So now run the container, this time with the -v flag. Let me clear my screen. Okay, Docker run. Now I am in the Docker environment. Name Postgres volume, enter. Same commands that I used in the past with the previous example. Just file name is different. Okay, -e Postgres password equals my secret password -p port 5432 /v Postgres data that path var lib PostgreSQL SQL, okay, data backslash dash d detached, okay, Postgres 16. So I created that volume, okay. So everything is identical to before except that dash v flag. Let me explain it. Dash v I used here. All other commands are same that I used in the past example without volume. So I just added here a new command line dash v, this Postgres data, this path, okay. So dash v Postgres data, this line actually the format is volume name, okay. This is dash v is the volume, this is the name of the volume, okay, name of the volume colon the container path, this is the path of the container. The left side Postgres data is the Docker volume we just created, okay. The right side this right side, okay, is the path inside the container where PostgreSQL stores all the database files, every table, every row, every index. It all goes in here, okay. Docker mounts the volume at that path. So when PostgreSQL writes a file to that path, it actually goes into the host volume, not the container's writable layer, as I said before. You want to delete the container? The container's writable layer is gone, but the volume is not gone. Now let's create the same data, okay, that we created in the past example without the volume example. I want to type docker execute it Postgres volume PSQL-U Postgres, okay. Now I want to create, so now I'm inside that PostgreSQL database environment. So I want to create a database, same database, right, database company, okay. So instead of, let's do it, no problem, dash c company, okay. So now I'm connected to the database company as user Postgres, okay. So I want to create table employees, sorry, id serial primary key, okay, name is a varchar, id is a serial primary key, name is varchar character, okay, the length is 100 characters, okay, and then department is also variable character, okay, the length is also 100, right. Now I want to close this, the table structure. So I want to insert entries into the table that I just created. Insert into employees table. What I want to insert? Name, department, values, okay. The first value is name, first employee, Alice Johnson, and the department is engineering, and then the second employee is Bob Smith, and the department is marketing, and the third is Carol White, and the department is finance, okay. End of the table, end of the entries. So 3 rows are created, and I want to select all of them from employees. Okay, you see, same thing, same table, same 3 employees, same department I created in this example. Now I wanna quit that SQL environment. Okay, now let's clear my screen. So 3 rows in the database is exactly as before. Now let's delete the container. I want to delete the container, right? Docker first stop Postgres volume, and I want to delete it as well. Docker rm Postgres volume. Before I hit enter, I'm gonna first show you that my Postgres volume is active, right, as a container. Now after hitting this command, it should gone. Okay, it is gone in my Docker desktop, right? So here is the important check. Is the volume still there? Let's try. Even though I deleted the container, I want to check the Docker volume is there. Docker volume list. Okay, so container is gone. Now yeah, the Docker volume, you see the container is gone, however the volume is still there, right? The volume survived. Now I want to recreate the container with the same volume. So Docker run, I'm in Docker environment, name, I want to create the same, I want to say create the same container, right? So name Postgres, name is a Postgres volume / e Postgres password equals my secret password, then p port 5432 v Postgres data var lib Postgres data detached Postgres 16. Oh, I made a mistake, right? So let me do it. You know what mistake is? So I did not add underscore here, which is a standard, right? So let me recreate that. Okay, not a problem. So all I can do, I can just go here, I want to do the same thing again, and so here underscore, right? So that is missing here. Okay, right, and then port. Okay, my apologies, that video will be a little longer because of this error. I'm so sorry. Then I would do the Postgres. Now it is created. Okay, yeah, this volume is created back again. clear my screen. Now I want to type docker exe it postgres volume PSQL u postgres. Okay, now let's see the company C. I'm in that PostgreSQL database or environment. I want to type C company. So now I'm connected to the company as a user Postgres. Okay, and then I want to select all from employees. See, my data is still there, right? Yeah, so there they are. Okay, Alice, Bob and Carol, all the 3 rows fully intact. The container was completely deleted, as you have noticed, and I created that container from scratch, but the data never left that volume. The data is still there. Okay, so this is Docker volumes. This is the power of Docker volumes. Okay, so let me consolidate what you just saw into 3 concepts that you will remember. Concept number 1: containers are ephemeral. Okay, the containers are ephemeral. Okay, when you delete a container, everything inside it is deleted. That is by design. Containers are meant to be thrown away. Okay, the image is permanent artifact, not the container. Concept number 2: volumes are persistent. A name volume lives in Docker's managed storage on the host machine. It exists independently of the container. You can attach it to a container, you can detach it, delete the container, and volume would still remain. Concept number 3: the -v flag is the bridge. -v volume name colon container path mounts the volume at a specific path inside the container. Any writes to that path go to that volume, not the container's writable layer. One more thing worth knowing: there is a difference between named volumes and bind mounts. A named volume, what we use today, uses -v postgres -data /path. Docker manage it. Okay, you don't need to know where it lives on your machine. A bind mount, however, uses an absolute host path: user, your name, my data path. So this maps a specific folder on your machine or your computer directly into the container. Okay, so which is useful for development when you want to share local files with the container in real time. For databases in production, use the name volume. For development code sharing, use bind mounts instead. Okay, so all right, so let's recap what you built today. You proved with your own hands that containers are temporary. Delete the container, you will lose the data. And then you proved that Docker volume, on the other hand, solve this. The container is gone, the volume remains. We recreated the container with the same volume, data is fully recovered. This is the foundation for running any stateful application in Docker, whether database, file storage, cache, message queue, they all need volumes, right? You don't want all of them get deleted if their containers are deleted. You want them to stay in your database, right? So big companies use Docker volume. So from here, the next steps are Docker Compose, which lets you define volume in a YAML file alongside your services, so you never forget to mount them. And then volume backs up and database migrate strategy. If this helped you understand volumes, hit the like button. It genuinely helps the channel grow. Subscribe if you want more Docker and DevOps tutorials like this. Drop a comment what you are going to use volumes for in your project. I read every single comment. Okay, see you in the next one. Thank you. Bye bye.